And welcome to today's Women Who Own Their Worth Roundtable interview series. I am so excited. I've been excited before about these roundtable interview series, but today's a little different. I have to tell you a little story, and then we're going to bring these beautiful women out, ask them some questions, and see what they have to share today about not only what does it mean to own your worth, but what's getting in the way, and then also share some innovative, creative ways that you can create wealth right now, especially with everything going on in the world. If you're at all wanting to know how to create wealth, we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But first of all, I want you to know, I create these interview series. I book women in based upon when I can work with them and their schedules and my schedule as well, because to get 4 women together who are already women who own their worth, it's not always, can't always get together at the same time. So I have been able to group people together. And what was fascinating about today, I had no idea this would happen. It's that 2 of my best friends and a woman who actually knows me well because she's done my astrology and she's looked into my soul. Knows me well in terms of some foundational pieces about me. We've been friends for a while. We've cheered each other on. So it's just, for me, such a blessing today to bring these women to you, because they're women that I really, that know me well, I would say, know me better than some of the other women that I've interviewed. So I'm really, really grateful. Karen, I'm going to bring you out first. Welcome. First of all, I just want to say, I really appreciate you being here. And what is it that you do in the world? Who are you and what do you do in the world? Let's just say a little bit about you first.
A little bit about me. Well, I was born a channel by nature. So that means, like, when I was younger, I didn't notice that myself, but I had people coming to me, like older people that would come up, and I'm like 5 years old and they'd like, let's ask Karen. And they would ask me a question, and I would just like answer them, and they would go, that's right. And they would get fascinated. And I remember that as a child. And then it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I realized that, I came down through my grandmother, who was a white witch, and that I had this ability to see beneath the veil when I want to turn that on and channel higher self. So I'm doing astrology that way. I channel the chart, I channel the planets. So it's not so much like you have your sun here or there, even though I will tell you that to help you to understand it. I'll read what it's saying about you through the chart. And usually when they come on, they don't say anything, and then I get right to it. And it's usually their higher self is already working with me, saying this is what they need to focus on now. So that's so beautiful, because it helps me to just let go and just be in the moment and be able to give nourishment to my clients. So that's how that channeling part is played out. I did study astrology for quite a few years, but I've been in the cosmetic business for a long time. Also kind of when I was a child, because I was in hair shows when I was younger. And then my whole family, they own hair salons and they're in the business. And so I was working on set for many years. And then I started working in a salon in Beverly Hills doing makeup. And then I fell into doing brows. So when I was there, I just started doing brows out of the blues, and I got really good at it. So I started doing brows, and then I started specializing in regrowing brows, and then just fell into like the hair. And when I was working there, I was really natural. So I was trying to find all these natural ingredients that would be powerful enough to help my hair look the way that I wanted it to. So through that experience, I created my own cosmetics, and I'm also doing hair consults with people and helping them to find their solutions and protocols that will help them get to their potential. So, and 4 children, if that makes a difference about me. And I'm going to
4 children. 4 children.
I think that we were just talking about that before we got on, is that 4 children kind of gives you a cloud of like, you've managed your time, because it's almost impossible not to when you have 4 kids. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I love this. I'm just going to share a little bit here about why I call you my hair shaman. I call her my hair shaman. Why do I call her my hair shaman? Well, she mixes beauty with she mentioned nourishment, and I would say she's somebody who's very much taught me about nourishment. She understands the health and the body. So beauty, body, but then also there's this really cool energy channeling astrology piece that she bridges. So she brings in these really neat, health, beauty, and then energy together. She has this really intuitive way about her understanding what you need in terms of the food, the sleep, the the mantras, the products, everything. I think you have this really interesting way of viewing health and beauty and energy. So can you tell us, Karen? Yeah, I appreciate you. I've really enjoyed, the work we've done, the information you provided, and then also, the products. So question, what does it mean? What does it mean to you to own your worth?
Well, this is something that I kind of refuse to like write it down or, because I've been working with this for so long. So I thought, well, I'm just going to be intuitive in the moment when I answer this question. Because I think that I've went through many phases of this myself. And I know you have, Lila, as well. And you work with that every day with people. So I think it's about realizing that your worth is not what other people see or what they are saying that it is. It's inside of you. And I finally realized, I came to a point where I realized that your value truly could never really be seen fully by another person. Some of it will be seen. They will appreciate you for different things, and that's wonderful. But the depth of the value of your spirit is within you. So I think owning your worth is about getting in touch with your own value and what that is, and lead with that, no matter what happens outside of you, not letting that outside, affect your value by maybe somebody didn't value that has nothing to do with you. So I think it's about really tuning into your own value and understanding it. And, I've done that with astrology, and with all my experience, I've tuned in and realized that, even because there's some days I'll feel like I'm not sure what's going on. And then other days I'm just like, it is just this, and I'm walking forward. So I think we're in and out of it all the time with ourselves, but the key is to know that it's never outside of you, although you'll get value, which is wonderful to have recognition and be valued. But when you tune into yourself and you understand your value as a being, as a spirit, but also what you're doing in the world, how does that value the world? And it's from the inside out, just like everything else.
It's beautiful. I just want to take a breath on that one. Everybody take a breath, inside out.
That was a big one for me.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for that.
You have to, it's inside of you, your value.
Oh, that's so great. I just love this. So thank you so much, Karen. I'm going to bring Angela Geoghegan out. Welcome, 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 honey.
Hi.
Oh, so good to have you. So good to have you. So let us know, who are you and what is it that you do in the world?
Well, I'm Angela Geoghegan. I'm a mother of 4 daughters, which I feel like it's his own little joy. I'm a realtor for Keller Williams Capital Partners. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businesswoman, and I'm just one with the Lord. Like, that's who I am. So very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And can I add a little something in there?
Yeah, let's do this.
No matter what you do in the world, you have a tendency to be there for others and help people along the way. Is that true?
Yeah, and that's all actually goes part of what I want to talk about, like with owning my worth, right? Because like I I have always been one of those people that I would judge it off of how many people can I take care of in a day? How many people can I get things done for? And I was always proud because I could really probably outbeat most, and just touching as many lives as possible. And then, I thought that that's what like my value would be based off of. But now I'm like, I'm taking time for me, and my value is taking time to set aside for just whatever I want to do and not feeling guilty about it, not feeling ashamed about it. And it feels pretty amazing. It feels amazing. So.
I love that. See, this is, I'm going to take you off here for a second. This is why I love this woman. She answers 2 questions at once. That's called efficiency. I'll tell you what, to have 4 daughters and be a realtor and all the other things you do in the world, you got to be efficient. And you
time management is key.
Yeah. What was that, honey?
Time management is key. Absolutely.
You've always taught me that. Thank you. I'm so excited to bring you back out and get some more wisdom from you. This is beautiful. I just want to say, to all the women out there who are in that state of feeling like giving, and doing more for others, thank you. Thank you for doing all that. And at the same time, this is exactly why we're doing this show today, is to say, hey, you deserve a beautiful life. Speaking of, you deserve a beautiful life. The woman that taught me this is my accountability partner, colleague, and one of my best friends, a high performance coach, amazing. She'll introduce herself, but I'm just, really thrilled to have her today to share a little bit about how to have a beautiful life. So Elle Ingalls, welcome, 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 welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm in the hair shaman place.
Girl, you looking good.
I love it. I love it. I was just coaching a client today on this very thing, actually. It's really interesting on what it means to feel like you really deserve to have a beautiful life and that self-worth. And I want to bring one thing forward first. And again, I'm a mother of 3 boys and it comes from children. I love to listen to what children say. They have a lot of wisdom. And when my youngest was quite young, 4 or 5 years old, he must have been in kindergarten, because they did this thing of You Are Special Day. And he goes, no one is special. I don't want this day. I don't want to do this day because no one is special. And if they think they are, it's not true. And so it's like valuing everyone and everything. And he didn't just think that people weren't special, but also animals, trees, rocks, everything. They're all important, and nothing is more than anything else. And so sometimes I think we're in this comparison world where we're trying to, there's all this tension and competition around things, and just reminding ourselves that we're valuable just being here. It's not what we do. And my husband would say this often. He goes, it's not your job title. It's not what you do. It is how you are and who you are to other people and other things, and how we're walking around on the planet. And so I think it's when you can really encompass what your worth is, by not trying to define it by other people and other things, but really feel it as has already been stated here, like deep inside. Deep inside, that is when you start to really step into your full worth and feel you really deserve to have a beautiful life. I didn't even introduce myself, so.
I think it's actually perfect. I know it's so perfect. I want to say, but this is actually I'm going to prep you to introduce yourself, because you said it comes from the inside out. So now, Elle Ingalls, will you let everybody know what you do in the world?
Mm-hmm. So I created an on-the-go stress management method that helps people improve their health, their mental health, and their physical health at a level that doesn't feel possible until you start to experience it. And I came to this work as a performer and an executive, so not as a psychologist or therapist. So it's a very interesting take on stress and anger and anxiety, the emotions that now cause us to trigger the stress response. So my expertise is on the fight or flight stress response in a really deep way. And I've coached thousands of people around the world about it and had unbelievable miracles happen when people start to not trigger the stress response for the small things and the big things. And it's beautiful work, and it allows people to really step into their full worth and allows them to feel loved. It really opens up so much for people. And then the performance end is like, people will say to me, I feel so limitless now. My brain can do things I never thought possible before. And I was just fortunate. My kids were all still at home when I created this. My youngest was 10. It totally changed his life. It completely changed his life at the age of 10. And he's now majoring in psychology at Columbia. He wants to work with me. We want to create a research center, and it's going to get exciting. And so yeah, that's what I do.
Thank you, Elle. I so appreciate you. I really, really do. And I'm just going to go ahead and bridge all that together and give her a little plug. She's not that long ago with a book called Pressure Free Parenting, the 10-second solution to reduce stress and anxiety. This is you've written books before, but this is your first book on Amazon. Is that true?
Right. Yeah.
So
that's my first Amazon book.
Find her on Amazon, friends. They'll get you the book. You know, they fast deliver. Just get it. Pressure Free Parenting. But here's the deal. It's even if you're not a parent, this says for high achieving families, if you're a high achieving woman, whether you're a parent or not, this book will show you exactly what she's talking about in terms of feeling limitless and loved without having the stress hormones in your body. Now, when we talk about it comes from the inside out, this is a powerful way to take care of your insides, friends. Okay. Mm-hmm. So thank you, Elle. And she's, you know, like she said, I love when she said her son wants to create, you know, a research institution or something, you know, basically on this. How many people do you know where their kids want to go off and get a PhD based upon their mother's research? Now, if that's not something to speak about in terms of the work that she does in the world, I don't know what is. If your son wants to do your work, that's powerful. You guys got a good relationship. So high five on that one. All right, I'm going to bring Karen back out. I got a question for you, Karen, because, you know, we can talk about owning your worth all day, but what is it, you know, what do you see in terms of your clients and your life experience getting in the way of women really having success and owning their worth? We've got you muted, so let's see if we can get you unmuted. Sexy glasses on.
Myself, there we go. So back to the question. You know, I've met with so many women, and it's interesting because I'll reveal myself a little bit. I went through so many phases in my life. Like when I was younger, I was, you know, making a lot of money and I knew my worth and everything. And then you get challenged in your life, you know, you start to go through things. And so you go through certain things. And then I surpassed those things and I became a millionaire and then lost that, which I didn't lose it because I spent it on good things. I helped a lot of people, but now I'm at the point where I'm rebuilding that. But as I was rebuilding that, I was going through one of my wounds. We all have these past life, current timeline life experiences where things didn't work out in that timeline. And we're bringing those remembrances back in this lifetime that we can actually work with and then create a treasure of that experience. So they actually become your worth. But when we're not aware of that, what happens is we get these triggers that come along, and as soon as they come along, they hit us. Like the trigger is going to be a certain vibration, maybe a more gentle vibration, but when it hits you, it triggers deep down into that memory code of your experience of not getting it done in this prior timeline. So what happens is as soon as we feel that, we start to doubt ourselves. We start to go, we don't even know what it is most of the time. Most of the time we're saying, I don't know, I just feel this thing inside, like something might happen, because every time I go about to do it, this comes up and maybe something's going to happen. Maybe I'm feeling that. Or, you know, worse, that comes up and they start doubting their own self because this thing's inside of them, they feel they're not worthy, or they're not good enough, or something like that. That maybe it's true. Otherwise, why is it coming up? So maybe it's true. So they go through these things. And I think the way to get through that is that, you know, do the work on that. But most of the time when you talk about your dharma, which is where you're in your astrology chart, it's aligned, your dharma's aligned. It's kind of with your karma. So you're dealing with karma, but then you come into your dharma, and that's usually happening in your midheaven, where you're actually what you're contributing into the world. So that's kind of your dharma. So all of us, whatever we really desire to do, it's usually our dharma, unless we're not aligned with it. But if we're aligned to that, that's what goes on. We're going forward. As soon as we take those steps, we get that trigger. Like, remember, it didn't work last time. So I actually help people get through this by not responding to those triggers, and then tuning into their self and taking full authority over the energy, and remembering that this is this past life memory code, and that we can honor that and honor that deep experience that we went through in this other life, and that it didn't, but this time it's here to remind you. Because when somebody makes $1 million and they've already got, like, you know, 25 million, they're like, yay. But if somebody has nothing and then they win $1 million, it's like, you know. So this kind of is in there. So when you surpass it, this is what makes us value what we accomplish. When we have a trigger there and we actually get through it, then we can truly value that at a higher level. So, you know, I work with people on the way to doing that. But the part of that work is to take authority over your feelings and tune in, because you are here. When you decide and you tune into your dharma, that is your truth. You're always going to get those triggers and those hiccups that come in. And that's what makes this strong. When we get through that, we say, you know what, no matter what that is, I'm going to move forward because I have trust in what I'm doing, and this is my dharma. And to keep moving through that, and eventually those little triggers that are bugging you stop showing up, and all of a sudden you're in your dharma and you're in your worth. And that's these ladies all here today.
This is so fascinating, because I know you and I know the other gals. So it's going to be interesting to hear the complementary conversation here. I really appreciate this. And I'm going to say, this really resonates with me right now, Karen. For those of you guys who know, I launched the podcast today, and it was kind of came up fast, asked to go quicker than I expected. And all of the doubt and insecurities and fears came up of, it feels vulnerable. Because, you know, my Chiron wound and you guys all know me well. Oh, yes. You know, my triggers. It's this sense of, I'm putting myself out there to people like, I don't know. They're like strangers to me. You know, my social media, I know people that I'm connected to. Out there in the world, it's like, oh,
they think.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just this whole, like, you know, coming up, and I was sharing, you know, because I'm familiar with some tools that Elle's taught me. I was using them yesterday, or 2 days ago in particular, when I was really getting the podcast out in the world. I was really using those tools coming back home, like you're talking about, so that I could get this out without, you know, feeling too scared and low, and, you know, my self-worth not feeling too, I didn't want to bring myself down by doing a project. And so I really appreciate understanding the wounds and understanding the tools to get past the triggers. It's really cool. It really resonates with me this week. So Angela, darling, this is my girl. This is my ride or die from back home. She knows more about me than anybody. Don't tell anybody. Just kidding. Just sort of kidding, not
Keep it in,
ish.
trying to keep it in.
I know, right? Okay, we've just been youngsters together, had a good old time, you know. We probably stole toilet paper from a bathroom or something funny.
Or a hot dog, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, we'll tell that story. I think we're on a podcast one day. That's a funny one, man. Okay, so here's the deal, babe. You know, you've known a lot of women along the way, worked with women, managed women. You now support women or connected with women. What is it that you see as really challenging women right now in terms of blocking their success and owning their worth?
I think a lot of it, and we've talked about this before, is women have been nurtured so much and groomed that we're always supposed to be doing everything. We're always supposed to be working. We're supposed to be the perfect wife, supposed to be the perfect mom. Hurry up, come home, make dinner. Like, you have so many things on your plate on any given day. And I think what keeps us women sometimes from taking the next step and, you know, getting to where we want to be is we don't delegate enough, right? We have to delegate. And I think that a lot of women have trouble doing that because they think it's going to be a sign of weakness, that they need help, right? And that's just not true. Like, you know, it's going to take everybody to make, you know, the next move. And so just like opening up and accepting that it's okay to ask for help. And that, you know, I had a lady, and it just, you know, it's little stuff sometimes. And I saw a lady on Facebook the other day, and she says that, you know, she really wanted to hire a house cleaner just to, you know, take that time where she could be doing other things, but she felt guilty just being at home while the house cleaner was there. And she, you know, she was all torn up about it. And I told her, I said, you know, why would you feel guilty? Like, one, you're providing a service for that, you know, home cleaner that's probably feeding their family to open up time for you. Like, you know what I mean? It goes both ways. So I think that a lot of times it just comes down to is women feel like, you know, in order to be the boss lady, they have to be able to do it all. But that's simply just not true. It's using your resources, you know, using your friends, asking for help. And that's really where I just see the stop, where we just sometimes may have a little too pride to admit that we need people to help. We need people.
We need people. And I'm going to say, you've been one of the best delegators I've ever met in my life. You knew how to delegate from a young age. What was up with that?
Listen, it's strict parents. No, just really, no. You know, honestly, I mean, it has been years of it, but again, it's like always feeling like I had to prove myself constantly at such young ages that I'm like, other people could be doing this with me. we could be doing bigger things if I would just, you know, start passing out some of these duties. Let's get some things done so we can have some fun, right?
Yes.
Fun.
Yeah. I really, you know, I've been a witness of you, and I've seen you delegate, and I've built my business, and I have a couple team members, and it's been a huge lesson for me because I don't have to work as many hours. Yeah. And I can get way more, you know, to happen. I can create way more. And so I really appreciate, you know, you being an example of an amazing delegator in the world because it's helped me along the way. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Elle Ingalls.
I want to bring 2 points forward. Whoops, I'm unmuted? Yes. Okay. The first that I notice, and I noticed this in myself too when I was starting my business, the willingness to invest in your own growth. So that's a block for a lot of women. I coach both men and women in the pressure-free method. And when I do a strategy session with a man, he typically just whips out the credit card and pays. Boom, done. But when I am doing a strategy session with a woman, there will be a zillion reasons why not. And they typically aren't about money. I remember once I was coaching someone or doing a strategy session, and she said, well, I don't know, I don't really have the money. And she had just driven up in a customized vehicle, privately customized to her needs.
I don't know anybody with a customized vehicle. So I'm like, who here has a customized vehicle? Give me a heart, give me a like, give me a comment. I'm like, I don't even know anybody like that. Okay.
Yeah, she'd gone to the particular car company factory and customized it to her needs. So we'll spend money on these things over here, but to make an investment in our own personal growth or our own ability to change or our businesses, sometimes we'll put the brakes on. And that's a sign we need to do some self-worth work together. Another thing that I see, and I saw this for myself, I think we have some imaginary barriers, and this gets into what Karen was saying. And I'm going to use money as the example. So for example, I didn't realize how many times in a year I would hit just under my last corporate salary in my own business. It was like, that was an imaginary ceiling that, oh, I can't go past that because I'm like doing this myself now. What is that? There was another there can be several of them. There can be what your parents made.
Yeah.
Or the person who raised you. There's another little ceiling. So there's your own ceilings. If you're in a partnership with someone, how much money they make might be a ceiling. And so you might feel this little resistance right on the other side of that is when you've broken through to like a whole new level. So I didn't even realize it was happening to me until one year I hit December. I'm like, I should be having more money in this month. And it was just under that corporate salary. And that's when it was just a breakthrough for me, like, oh, it's time to break through that. So it's very practical, but to think about, where are these imaginary glass ceilings for you that you have an opportunity to do some work or do some growth, and then investing in yourself. I've made huge investments in my business and in my growth as a coach, and every one of them has been worthwhile. Every one of them has been great.
What was your best one?
What was my best? Oh, I don't know.
It was me. It was me. Come on.
Saying yes to Lila.
I'm a lifetime investment, baby. I got you.
Yeah, considering I first said no, I didn't want to have anything to do with her. So.
But a woman who owns her worth keeps going. I'm like, I want you.
That's so funny.
You're going to be my friend.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for you. Yeah, I appreciate this. I really resonate with this because I coach women, right? When you on a business and creating wealth. And so one of the also bringing forward, there's a ceiling often around, is it going to be too much work? Right. That's a little bit of barrier. But what Angela brought forward is it won't be too much work, right? If you know how to delegate. And then what Karen brought forward, understand what your triggers are. And then what Elle's bringing forward, tools to really in the moment, not that let them affect you. You can actually have a lot, create a lot, and it won't overwork you. So that's like, I want to just point that out, that these women right here have the wisdom, the insight to say, hey, you can actually receive more and make it happen and get past those ceilings. Even if you can't do it by yourself, there's support here, like on this call or on this, recording today. So I love this. I'm just so jazzed. Karen, we want to bring out some little practical ideas for women now, because you bring in wealth in really unique ways, beauty, the body, energy, the planets, all this really cool stuff. So could you give our women today some ideas around ways to create wealth in the world right now?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you guys for your answers, because that's been one of my things that I can I've invested a lot of money in my business, but those ceilings and just the delegation of allowing the work to be, because I don't have any problem working hard, but like to give my work to others, sometimes I'm like a little bit of like, are you sure you're going to do it right? So I've got to get better in both of those areas. So thank you, ladies. That was beautiful. And I'm going to note that and really work with that with myself. This question was a really interesting question that you asked. And I thought about it a little bit, and then I just said, I'm going to come in the moment with it, because it really is an interesting question, because there's so many angles you can come with. Because now that, we've had this Corona happen, we've all had, our whole lives have been changed. So a lot of people are changing and they're starting businesses from home. which us mothers have been doing for a while. And so I think that if I was to give somebody guidance on how to make money right now, it would be to get a session with me and Lila and the other two girls and find out where your ceilings are, find out where your triggers are, and find out where your dharma is so that you can truly align to that and then start creating the platform. And it's as simple as, and I mean, Lily, you've told me this so many times, that you just create a PayPal link. Just create a PayPal link. And once you understand, because everybody in the whole world individually, even though all of us were saying a lot of similar things, we've all four here have different values to honor and gift the world. So everyone, a lot of people tend to say, well, you know, it's already been done, but nobody's doing it. That's you. So take your gifts, and because everyone has something to learn from everyone. All of us ladies honor each other for what we're teaching, even though we're all considering ourselves as experts. So have a little faith in yourself and find out what your dharma is, and start that PayPal link and start putting it out there and see if you can get that generation going, and just have faith in yourself. And, you know, if you can afford it, get some of these coaches because they're amazing.
I love this. And I saw Elle Ingalls' face go, yes, yes, when you said, put out a PayPal link, right? Test it out. Test it out.
Yeah.
That. And what a beautiful, you know, I had never really thought about it, but yeah, find out your triggers before you figure out how you want to create wealth. Because, for example, if you don't like to sit in front of the computer a bunch and it's going to trigger you a bunch, that's probably not, you don't want to create some, e-commerce business or something. So kind of, find all that. That was really a really neat way to bring it all together. And I think the put out the PayPal link, that lesson is basically, hey, get paid. Put it out and get paid. See if you can get paid. Thank you, Karen. I really, really appreciate it. We'll bring you back out for Q&A.
Okay.
Angela, darling.
I'll tell you, I really resonated with hers as well. Just putting out that PayPal link. It's like, you just got to do it. Whatever it is, like you gotta quit thinking about it, quit planning it out, and do it. And, with having this whole pandemic stuff, it's like, it's honestly been the perfect time, the perfect time to start something new. Because, just like you were saying, that everybody's got their own spiritual gift. Right. So it's letting that out and then finding your audience for it. Right. Like I'm a mother of four. Like I drive a lot of my business towards other families because I know what they're going through. So when I'm, creating packages for my business and different things, like I'm keeping those things in mind, because that's the audience that I'm going to, and just doing it. And I think right now it's like, there's so many people because of, you don't get to see each other, that social media, it's like more people are willing to connect with you now than they ever have been. You can reach more people now than you ever have been. And if you're the mom at home, thinking I'm just a stay-at-home mom, what can I do? Lots of things. And because of that, you could start a video, just that's your kid just opening. I mean, look at Ryan, who's $30 million, right? Just opening toys. Well, I got funny kids too, so it's like, just this is the time to create it. Stop thinking about doing it. You just got to throw it to the wall sometimes and see if it sticks,
Totally. Absolutely. Little spaghetti trick. Can you do me a favor? One thing I really love that you do, you tend to go over and beyond for your clients. You've always been like this. And so could you give, as a real estate agent, as a realtor, can you share some of the things that you're doing when people, work with you? And, there's certain things that you do that are special that others don't. Can you share a little bit examples? I
thought you never asked. Absolutely. So yes, I will. Like listing a home, it's hard work. It's hard work, getting him together, you see everything, and then you worry about the people coming in and, you know, then getting showing day ready. And it's like all the kids make like, it is a lot of work for what a family will go through. So, you know, especially like on the day of showings, I have, you know, free of charge to my client, I have a professional house cleaner who comes in and takes that all off their plate. All they got to do is get out the door and I'll take care of the rest. My team also does like a listing packet for children, right? Because like selling a house takes the whole family. So I have little listing agreements that are, you know, teamly created in that. So when I go in, like I sit down with the children, make them feel a part of it too, right? Because they're about to go through a big change. So, you know, they have their own agreement, you know, picking up their toys, keeping their rooms clean, keeping the bed made, you know, all of that while, you know, showing time. And then so, you know, once mom and dad says they were good, you know, they get to choose of a gift card of, you know, 4 or 5 different places, you know what I mean? Because it's like a reward because, you know, it's all about making the process, you know, smooth as possible. So, and then, you know, with buyers and taking them out, you know, it's like, they go through so much as well. So, you know, when they get their home, they get a free family shoot, you know, photo shoot. You know, I get them discounts at, you know, furniture stores and stuff because you always want to buy new things. So, you know, just doing the extras. And then when any deal closes, we always donate to a charity of their choice. So part of our commission is always donated to wherever, you know, wherever they choose, because it is all about giving back, you know, helping people, giving back. We'll all be taken care of.
Yes, and you've done a really good job. I want to point this out because this might be something that somebody might think about. This is innovative. Something you've done is that she has taken and she's collaborated with other business owners to get discounts. So say the furniture store, there's other places, but say the furniture store, you say, hey, so I'm going to help you out in your business. I'm going to help my client out with a discount. And I'm going to help myself out because, you know, it looks good. It's extra value you're adding, right? They're going to want to work with you. And so partnering, like it's kind of back to the delegation. There was a question earlier that says, teach me how to delegate. This is a little bit of it. It's delegating in terms of, hey, I'm going to delegate my, you know, this added value that I'm offering my client. I'm going to delegate that by having somebody else give a coupon or a discount. Right? Like that's a really important, I think, to point out.
Making the connections, you know, anytime we connect people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
I didn't mean
you.
it. Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah. I want to know, tell me about it. One more thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's about. It's about making, you know, making connections, you know, is making everybody knows somebody who does something. How can you use that with your business? Right. And just, you know, building good foundations, strong bridges. I mean, you think about it, there ain't too much in the world that I'm like, you know, I probably know somebody who does it. Why not partner up? You know, help their family out, help your family out. I mean, that's what it's all about is just making, you know, I always say, Lil, shaking hands and kissing babies. It's about shaking hands and kissing babies. You want stuff done, you get as many people involved as possible. And then you start delegating and then watch, you know, watch your picture be built. You know, it's beautiful.
I love it. Shaking hands and kissing babies. I'll tell you what, I have learned this from her. She's been my friend for years, so that's a good one. Thanks, babe. I really, really appreciate you. We'll bring you back out for Q&A. Karen.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. I know I want to bring Elle back out, but I know you have to go at the top of the hour, right?
Yes.
So I'm just going to ask you if you could, because this is going to be a little bit of on the spot, Johnny on the spot. We've got one question.
Okay.
And it's actually what you're going to work on. It's the delegation. Somebody said, teach me how to delegate. So you've been, you know, able to delegate maybe in the past or at some point, but it's hard, right? Even you're working on it, say in this moment. Yes. What would you say to somebody that says, teach me how to delegate?
Gosh, that's a hard one for me because that's what I'm working on. But if I was to, you know, if they were to ask me that, I would say that, you know, it is just through putting yourself in that experience and taking, even if it's hard, because I say, for me, that's a hard one, you know, and everybody has their place, but you can't really improve unless you go and you do it. So maybe you start with one person, like you girls were so beautiful. God, I swear, I was getting this thought while you were both talking, and you, Lila, I was just like, women are going to take over the world in business because we're so compassionate. Like she was speaking about how like thoughtful about the children. I thought, God, women are so compassionate. They understand what people need. So I just want to share that. But I would say start one step at a time, like about having a maid. I remember back when we had money, you know, I would clean, before that, I would clean the house like spotless because I'm very particular about the house. Little more then than I am now because I'm running 2 businesses, but first for you to have a maid, perhaps like delegate the maid. Today I want you to clean the, start with that, start with something small, and then work on maybe having someone start on the sales team with you and delegate them and be patient and interview them and ask them what is their passion, because you don't want to, you know, it's going to be harder to delegate somebody to do something they don't love. You can't really push somebody to do that. So it's about really finding the right people, and then, you know, probably delegating will be pretty easy at that point because they're already passionate about what you're doing and what they can do to help you. So I think that would be the advice, to just find the person that's as passionate about that as you are.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, I started small. I think that's great advice. One step at a time, find the people. And I would say just one more piece here is call it in. Choose it, all in. Hey, bring me the person. Bring me the person, I need help. Like that's what I did. And I was in a meeting and I heard somebody and I thought, this woman asks really good questions. She asks the questions that nobody else is asking. And there were like 9 of us. And I'm like, this is a detail-oriented woman. I've been asking, I had chosen, I said, I need a detail-oriented person to work with me through my invoicing and billing and numbers, tracking and all of that. Clients and, you know, coordination, just little detail-oriented things. And she showed up, right? So once they show up, you know, it's okay, a little bit at a time, and then you can trust them to do more and more and more. I think that's great advice. Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
So appreciate you. Elle Ingalls, give us some innovative ways to create wealth, baby.
I will. I want to go to the delegation for a moment because I had an interesting thing happen when I was a single person running an organization and I was pregnant and I needed to somehow delegate things so that I could actually have my baby and take a week off. Okay. So I took a piece of graph paper and I wrote down every single task I did, both at home and at work. And then I had volunteer. And back then it was like $7 an hour, $10 an hour, $20 an hour, priceless. I have to do it. And I started just listing every task and putting them in the columns. And then I had a volunteer job. So now my volunteer was doing this stuff. My student intern was doing this stuff at $7 an hour. My assistant that I hired, she was doing this next stuff, and I was training her to take over when I had the baby. So I just did it really practically. Just what are all the things and what don't I want to do anymore? But now for some tips. When I saw this question, it really recalled a client of mine who 2 years after she had done my program with me, I was driving through her city. So I said, hey, are you free for lunch? And we connected and we sat down and she goes, I need to tell you something. When I came to work with you and do your course, I did not have the money to do that. I scraped it up because I knew I needed this. She was a widow with 5 children and she was making $10,000 a year. After we worked together, within 3 months, she had tripled her income. And when I asked her, like, tell me how you did it, like what changed for you? When you have 5 children and you're doing all that stuff, and some of them were older, but you still had some at home. It was just a crazy time, and the grief and all the stuff. She goes, I was using the pressure-free method. So she's being calmer now, more confident. But the biggest thing was that she said, I started saying yes to things that I would have said no to. And we hear this all the time, like, just say no, say no, say no. And she goes, I started saying yes.
Oh, I love that.
And before she knew it, she was getting this little gig here to teach art over here and this little thing over here. And then suddenly she gets offered a huge job at this one place. Like, stuff happened because she was open. And she also mentioned that what she noticed with other friends, you say, hey, are you free tonight? Let's go down to the art show at the blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh no, I'm too tired. I'm too exhausted. No, 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 no. It's like total change with the energy that she had to be able to say yes. But if you're living under a bunch of stress, it's so hard to say yes because you're so exhausted. You're not getting a real night's sleep. You're waking up fatigued. And so that was the biggest change for her. And I still follow her we follow each other on Facebook, and I see what she's doing. And I'm just like, I can't believe it. Now she's in this city and she's doing this. And it's just incredible to see. So if you've got that little voice that says, oh, I can't take on one more thing, or I'm just so exhausted, that's where we need to work. If we can help you with that first, then you can start to say yes to some things that really matter to you. And all of a sudden, like, she's got, I don't know how many little businesses she's running in addition to her job, because she just keeps doing it. So it's very interesting. Whenever I see the articles that say, just say no, or someone's post like, just say no, I'm like, just say yes.
Just say yes. This is beautiful. And this really resonates with me right now, Elle. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that so much. And I'm gonna ask for Q&A here in a moment, but I just want to say same thing. You know, you guys are my friends and my colleagues and my support system. And what you've been speaking today has really been resonating with me. You know, like I said, with the podcast, came kind of quick. Same thing. Thought I had a little more time. Said, can you do it sooner? I said yes. Right. I could have said no. And then there's so many things along the way I could have said no to. And you know, just really, I like to call it like paying attention to the breadcrumbs. You know, like if you need help with delegation, for example, choose it. Say, I need help with delegation, and then pay attention to the breadcrumbs. And then when somebody comes in, say yes. Right. Say yes. Oh. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. So I'm going to see, we've got a guest on here. I'm going to see if she has any questions before we wrap up. And then if there's anything you want to add, Karen, before you hop off, I know you've got to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if she wants to come out and ask anything. Yeah. And then if, Karen, do you want to leave any remarks?
Actually, I wanted to share something that I kind of wish I would have done it earlier. Because I remember a time like a few years ago when I was working on my business that it wasn't going well for me. Like, it was stressfully not going well. And this is a time when I was working on my own Chiron, you know, this was like about 6 years ago. And I was working on my Chiron because I was studying astrology at the time. And then once I started working with my Chiron by, you know, not responding to it, because I think a lot of us have, you know, when we're raised, like I was raised with my dad saying, money don't grow on trees. And I'm like, now I'm like, you know, I don't put that belief in, but I was feeling like those old habitual programmed thoughts in my mind. And then all of a sudden I surpassed it. And my son works with me, does all my graphic stuff now. And I told him, I said, you know, look at the difference between last month and this month. He goes, what'd you do? Did you change your platform? Did you do something in business? I said, I did nothing in my business different. I changed my thought about the way that I believed money was manifesting for me. I changed my belief around that. That's all I did. And all of a sudden, money was flowing in. So I really did want to share that. Just a belief is just, and it does take time to change it, because when your subconscious is believing that, it takes about a month or 60 days, but within that time, everybody's a little bit different, to shift to where you're naturally running on, I know that money is going to flow. That's where I am now. But before I was like, I don't know if I'm going to have my rent, you know, like it was like that. And so I remember, like, even when that thought would come up as I was working through it, I'd be like, of course the universe is always going to bring me my money for my rent. Of course it is. like, why would I believe any way else? So I retrained those thoughts, and now they don't come up at all. But I still have my growth, and there's other places, but I just want to share that because I can imagine, like, if I went through that, that other people go through that, believing that that money is not going to flow in. And just like the other girl said, that when you take a chance on yourself and you put an investment into yourself and things like that, universe is always working for you, not against you. So please reprogram those beliefs that were programmed into you. You may not even believe in them, but you're still going on them because you just haven't outdated, thrown out your system yet, the old system. Yeah. So I did want to share that. And if there's any other, I can answer.
Yeah, I think you answered them all. Thank you, Karen. I think that's brilliant. I'm so glad you shared that. And I think Elle has something to chime in, and we'll see Angela too, if she has anything. Take care, Karen. I appreciate you so much.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, honey.
Bye, girls.
Bye. So nice to meet you.
Ew.
I just have to key off of that and tell the leaving Colorado, leaving you story.
Okay, I love it.
I'm gonna watch this later. Bye, girls.
Bye. So when the first time I ever went out to Colorado and worked with Lila on a retreat, she had a stack of books that she was bringing to the retreat, and I grabbed one of them, and it was Dr. John DeMartini's book, How to Make One Hell of a Profit and Still Get to Heaven. And the bright red book just kind of grabbed me, right? So I literally devoured it. She later sent me a copy because I was just like taking notes and so into it. And so it's one thing to read a book. It's another thing to take the action that is in the book. And so one of the things in the book was to ask yourself how much money you are worth a day. Put a number on it. So I asked this of all my clients, whether we're working on money or not. It's like, what is your value? And so I put a value on myself, and it says, okay, you got to take that money out of your bank account and put it in your wallet and walk around with it always. So I'm like, oh, that's scary, right? I fly home not knowing if my business credit card even has enough money to get my car out of Detroit Metro, okay? So luckily I'm free, I'm on the road. I'm driving straight to a couple who wants to interview me to see if that I will work with their college daughter, who I've known these people for a while, but they wanted to interview me about my work. So I drove straight to their house. I thought it would be 20 minutes. They just asked me a few questions and good, yes or no. We were there over an hour talking, and they were grilling me. And I thought, these people are not going to hire me. Like, what's going on, right? She opens her checkbook. The check's already written for the full amount. So she had already decided she was working with me. It was like I was going through some kind of hoops or loops or something, right? Gives me the check. I go to the bank. I deposit the check. I need it for my business bills. It's going to my business account. But I take out the money that I said I was worth. And I stuck it in my purse. And I've never used it. And in how many years? 3.5 years now, I've kept adding to it because that's what I'm worth. And now I have foreign money in there too. So because I want an international business. I put the foreign money in and I got a client in Australia. I didn't have any Australian money. I don't even know what they use, but I had British money, money from trips I had, just bills, whatever bills I had, I put that right in my purse. I have one from Qatar. I don't have a Qatar client yet, but it's like, belief that I wouldn't have to use that money. It was very scary to do it because I was at a real crazy time in my business. So it's like moving into it and, making it happen and really just knowing that money's going to show up when you are fully invested in doing it. So it's kind of fun.
It's kind of fun, like she said. It is kind of fun. It's scary and it's fun. And I would agree with you. As a reminder, that book, Dr. John DeMartini, How to Make One Hell of a Profit and Still Go to Heaven. We can put the link in it to it later. It's a fantastic book. And same thing like Elle said, if you're going to get the book, do the exercises. Just read about them. Angela, anything else? Any parting words you want to leave us with today?
No, I'm just really grateful, to have all you ladies as a resource. I'm with both you ladies. I'm a firm believer of putting it out in the world. Trusting the Lord that that's what's right. It'll happen. It takes a lot just to put all your faith in something, and then just praying that it works out. But showing up every day, and coming ready for it. It would always all comes together. So it's nice knowing that. And once you know that, that's when it just every day is such a blessing for it. So, but it was wonderful meeting you ladies. I loved it. Well, I already know you, Lila, but the other two ladies, it was very nice.
Angie, I love how you brought forward going over the extra mile for clients. That's so cool. So cool.
Yeah. If we can just all make each other's life a little easier, why not?
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yeah. You were all, and that's what we're really here for. That's what this is about. I really appreciate you ladies today. And that's what this, wow, Women Who Own Their Worth, the roundtable interview series is all really about, is showing you, hey, you don't have to do it alone. We're here for you. We've got you. We'll show you ways. And if you need more help, we're here for you. Thank you. Thank you for being here, everybody that's watching online and listening later. We really, really appreciate you. And then do you ladies have anything you want to offer the audience in terms of a way to stay in touch?
Yeah, I would like to offer a free complimentary strategy call with me, and people can book it right at speakwithelle.com. That's the fastest way to go to my calendar. And especially if you're feeling stuck, there's something better for you. So my work isn't just breaking the stress cycle. It's actually breaking the stress cycle so you can create the life you really want. So speakwithelle.com.
Thank you, Elle. Speak with LELLE.com. And Angela, how can people stay in touch with you, honey?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram as Angela is my realtor. Definitely on Facebook under Angela Geoghegan, Keller Williams Capital Partners. Just not for, real estate needs. Sometimes just as moms want to know how to run a business and keep all the kids alive, to reach out to give that support. So I am definitely here for both. They go hand in hand sometimes. But yeah, I'd love to connect with anybody that just needs that extra oomph. I got you. I got a plan. So
thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. And to everybody out there, just remember, this is your year. Step up and own your worth. We'll see you soon.